ask you if you're excited because I can already tell, right? Yeah. Well, I'm so stoked to be here with you, experiencing all of these moments, learning the story of this MLG, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking before we get right into that match. So let's start by introducing our red player, coming from both the US and Canada on Team Evil Geniuses, playing Protoss. Let's welcome HuK. How's it going, Chris?
Good.
You are one of the only people in the entire world to hold 2 MLG championship titles. So this is your stomping ground. Are you feeling confident right now?
I feel pretty good. Everything setting-wise has gone as planned, so I definitely plan to play my best, and he stands no chance.
No chance. All right. Well, let's hear what our blue player has to say about that from Team STX Seoul coming from Korea. Let's welcome iNnoVation. Hello. Now, iNnoVation, HuK says you stand no chance, but we've seen some amazing results and a lot of momentum from you in things like Pro League. So what can we expect from you here in this first match of our Heart of the Swarm tournament?
허크 선수께서 지금 비교도 안 된다고 질 거라고 하는데 어떻게 생각하시나요? 네, 자기가 이길 거라고 자신이 있는데 어떻게?
자신 있고 무조건 승리할 거라고 생각하고 있습니다.
He says he's full of confidence right now, and there's no way that he's gonna lose.
Oh, no way he's going to lose. What do you think? All right, let's hear it for our players. Guys, please shake hands. Go ahead and head to your booths. And let's get started. Back to you, casters.
Well, players returning to their booth, and Sean, between these two, a Protoss and a Terran, to kick things off, you had started to talk a little bit about Ignite Afterburners. And, you know, we had Yoda on Live on 3 the other week, and I really love what he said. We were talking about, you know, give us a breakdown of what you think about the races. And the way he said Terran was like, you know, I've always felt that Terran was, like, really good. I mean, even through Wings of Liberty and the nerfs that it got, and what Terran has been added, it makes those players who are really drop heavy, who are really up on that style, like it gives them that little bit of extra oomph. But then the whole concept of map control with Widow Mines, and you know, I like the concept of Terran was powerful. People bitched about Terran for the longest time, and they get these few extra things. Like, I mean, I'm really excited because
I mean, the fact of the matter is that a lot of the Terran play is still the same. I mean, it's Marine Marauder Medevac at its core against Protoss. Most players have been doing that build order style for 3 years now. And then it's accentuated by the Medevacs. And in fact, a lot of the Wings of Liberty strategies kind of felt binary. You know, you needed that third immortal, and if you had it, you'd hold off the Roach attack. And if you didn't, you wouldn't hold off the Roach attack. Same thing with drop play. If you have the units in place, you'll defend it. If not, you won't. But now, with the speed boost, it means that the Terran players can see what you have there and then go, oh, you actually have too much there. I can quickly go elsewhere and abuse that. It's a lot more of a spectrum, where the better you are, the more edge you're going to be able to squeeze out of this. It's not going to be one of those binary type things. Now, on the other hand, HuK is in one of the weirdest positions of his career. He had a really long span in 2012 where he had some, I would say, good series, but not good results.
Right.
He got bumped out a lot early, but I mean, look at that major tournament results.
Wow.
1 DreamHack Summer, 1 MLG Raleigh, 1 MLG Orlando. There's another major win at the Home Story Cup that is not listed there. 4th in the 2012 Winter Championships. He's been in the top 8 of GSL Code S before. I mean, HuK is a badass at this game. And now in Heart of the Swarm, all the new Protoss tools allow you to be more aggressive.
Right, which I'm very, very excited to see in the hands of HuK. I still kind of have my jaw on the floor of that MLG record. I mean, to think that he's played over 300 games in MLG over the basically over the course of Wings of Liberty. That is insane. I would not have guessed a number that high. But, you know, HuK has always been a fan favorite. And will he continue in 2013 to sort of hold that title of fan favorite? He's been in Korea, we haven't necessarily seen him as many international competitions, but HuK is HuK. He's been a StarCraft 2 household name for a long time. iNnoVation, on the other hand, with the dawn of the Kespa players really moving into StarCraft 2, has a chance to solidify himself, as I think all players do, as we go into Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, I mean, iNnoVation and HuK are kind of in a similar spot. I like that you bring up that HuK has not really been in a lot of tournaments lately. And a lot of people like to view, or I guess I would almost say unconsciously view, the amount of tournaments you attend with your pedigree as a player.
Right.
The better you are, the more
Right.
you should show up to things. But the more tournaments you're at, the less practice you're getting. And we've seen this time and time again. A player that gets to withdraw, spend a lot of time just training, regaining that footing, has a huge explosion at the next tournament. iNnoVation, one of those players who has had Artosis call him like the best player ever for a while.
Right.
Major has called iNnoVation, formerly Bogus, was the ID he played under. Bogus is a phenomenal player, but I haven't really seen that.
And, with these two players actually going head-to-head here, both getting that Korean training, obviously, but I kind of feel like the pressure is more on HuK in this situation. I mean, no player is going to enter that booth and not have some level of pressure to deal with, because it is a best-of-5. Once you lose, you're out. But I do feel like, HuK has that little bit of extra that he's got to fight for. Not only that, but probably for his team's sake as well.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about HuK is that he's had so much pressure on him. I mean, Reddit was basically this minefield that any thread that you open, if you're HuK, could just randomly be one of those phrases about, oh yeah, there's no way HuK's ever going to regain his dominance. And that's so hard as a player to experience that sort of pressure, to just be constantly trying to deal with all these comments about your play when a lot of people don't even realize how much HuK practices. HuK's one of the few foreigners who's been in Korea basically the whole time, just practicing.
Yeah, which is great. I don't know that there's been another foreigner, I mean, that maybe has amassed as many hours and days as HuK has in Korea. I'm sure we could probably think of a couple here. But yeah, that's actually an interesting perspective to kind of look at it. And of course, we've got so many great matches all weekend long. Now today, you're only going to see 8 matches total. There's going to be 4 on red, 4 on B, and then of course tomorrow it will continue to conclude the round of 32, and then we'll be moving on to the round of 16. But as I mentioned during the Open, every single matchup is going to be brought to you on the stream, on stage. And that is certainly a very nice change to have here as a StarCraft 2 fan at MLG.
And especially best of 5. Best of 5 is a good mix of preparation and just general sense. Best of 1 obviously is almost exclusively on your preparation for that individual match, but we're starting out on GSL Whirlwind, which is a really interesting map for 2 reasons. One, it's very large, very open. Difficult to really prevent your opponent from going anywhere for either race. There's just too much space to cover. So it's going to require a lot of those. Having sensor towers, having SCVs poking around, having observers in odd locations just to check. But also, it's one of the only pure 4-player maps. There's a lot of 4-player maps where you can only really spawn in 1 or 2 other positions. Antigua Shipyard's an example. It has 4 starting positions, but you always start cross-map. Not on Whirlwind. So a lot of the strategies that you do have this really odd risk factor to them. It's unlikely you're going to scout me, so maybe it's good to early expand. It's unlikely you're going to scout me. Maybe it's good to go for a crazy 2 barracks rush early.
This is actually one of my favorite maps that was played for quite a while in Korea before we actually did get the chance to play it here in a major competition. It's now officially a ladder map, if I'm not mistaken. Is that accurate?
That's correct, yeah.
So, obviously that's going to increase the frequency in which we see it, but frankly, the size alone is what has always drawn me to this map, because there's not necessarily a correlation between the size of a map and the excitement of a game. But it usually meant that we'd see multiple skirmishes throughout the game, a lot of attention to how can I attack, not from the front, so drop play is big. Some sneaky tactics as well. In fact, just saw on this matchup not too long ago a proxy oracle. That was during the launch party, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is that with so much space, hiding things, doing surprise stuff, actually is good. Almost always surprising things are bad because pretty much everyone knows what the optimal times are for everything.
Sure.
For instance, a Banshee, going for Banshees are good because you can get a Banshee out with Cloak by 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It's not good because you surprise him with 3 Banshees at 10 minutes. He's already going to have complete vision. He's going to see what's up in your base, and he's going to be like, where's the attack? And when the surprise comes, it's actually just bad. But on this map, you can really mess with your opponent. And in fact, let's just pretend it's the start of the game, at the beginning. There's a lot of new concerns that you have to worry about. Speed Reaper, huge. You really can't get away doing this Zealot, expand, sentry sort of setup that Protosses rely on, because Reapers will just destroy you.
Right.
It's actually, I've actually seen and tried to time out. If your opponent goes Reaper and scouts you and sees no Stalker and sees you early expanding, can actually just apply more Reaper pressure. And it's very difficult to deal with until you have Warp Gate. So Stalkers are now the big unit that you need early game instead of the Sentry.
Even in order to like get that expansion down, right? Because we'd have the 1 gate expands, very common, and that kind of changes everything without having to put the tech lab down on there. I mean, that is kind of what I'm hoping to see and discover along with many of you, here at this competition. I mean, to think that we really haven't gotten a chance to see this spotlighted top tier of talent play in Heart of the Swarm. I mean, we did get to see some during the beta, obviously the showdown matches that got the players to determine to here, but there was still a lot of time in between those matches, and there hasn't been a ton of time post-launch. So I do think there is still an opportunity, Sean, for those that put in that incredible amount of time during the beta to really shine a little bit brighter than some of those other members that maybe didn't put as much time in.
Absolutely. I mean, the core for any strategy is refinement, not the basic thoughts about the strategy at the start. No matter how clever or correct in your head it seems to say, oh, and now would be a good time to get Widow Mines, and then you start doing that. That's not what wins you. It's all those little timings where you say, okay, when I do this Widow Mine opening, I know that I only need 2 Marines to defend this attack instead of the usual 4, so I can use that extra 100 minerals to start an earlier second factory. Something like that. And HuK we've seen play quite a bit in the beta. iNnoVation, it's a little bit unclear how much he's done, but again, HuK is the one player who will crush you unless you have really well thought out little cute defenses. Because, I mean, there's a lot of times where you can do an early 3 or 4 gate pressure, and if the Terran's trying to be greedy, or if the Terran doesn't have a lot of strong placement with supply depots and bunker, he can straight up lose. And I will say, I think that the Widow Mine has got to be one of the biggest like coin flip feels of any of the new units, because you can get it in the worker line, kill off a bunch of workers, and you feel great. You can plan it by watchtowers, and you pick off a Zealot or a Stalker. But if there's gate pressure and a probe charges forward and eats that Widow Mine shot, then suddenly all the rest of the 4-gate or 3-gate units can march in, and there's nothing you can do because their Widow Mine's trying to recharge. I've seen Pult and Dragon lose numerous times on their stream just to a flubbed Widow Mine.
Do you think that is due to the lack of overall just usage experience in the Widow line? Because I do feel like seeing it used in such a fashion that is like, for example, controlling space. We talk a little bit about Brood War, and we talk about controlling space with spider mines back in the day. We don't have the Vulture, but I think that a lot of the Terrans are actually using that Widow Mine to not only gain themselves vision of certain portions of the map, but to just have, the Watchtower Widow Mine is fantastic. Like the Watchtower Widow Mine that constantly will just deny units vision as they try to come up here. There is a lot of really cool stuff that I feel like we're seeing it, but you're right. There is also, I don't want to call over usage, but maybe just like under experienced usage. How many do you need? How do you, so.
I mean, that's what's kind of funny is I like thinking about over usage in terms of the Hellbat drop. Hellbat's a really weird unit in that it's the 90 hit point Hellion can turn into the Hellbat, then is at 135 health, and is biological, which means a medevac can heal it.
Right.
And there are players who literally just get a starport with a reactor, and a factory with reactor, and then they just go only medevac Hellbat drop. And what we saw in Wings of Liberty is players did the same thing. They sort of overemphasized one thing before pulling back, and then slowly over time we got the players who got just enough roaches to transition to infestors, and just enough infestors to transition into broodlords. And these nice, smooth, well thought out transitions are really what we have wound up with. And then it all gets thrown out the window in Heart of the Swarm.
And you start all over.
Yeah.
And that's the great part about it. So we're I think just waiting on like one or two to get in there.
Yeah.
Like me.
Oh, Marcus. We'll actually be doing an interview in just a little bit as we get that finalized invite into the game. But once again, Marcus. I know what this means, Marcus. It means that you are in the game. You have joined us.
I'm ready to kick off this best of 5. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the one last thing that I did want to touch on strategically that's really weird at the start of the game is Mothership Core harassment. The Mothership Core, even though it's flying, is really slow. Any unit that can shoot up can actually chase it down. So it's not good on the retreat side. But this means that you can see on the high ground with the Mothership Core, and if you do a traditional wall off with supply depots, those get picked off. You can waltz your stalkers to the front with the Mothership Core boost, and then you can just march right into the main and see exactly what Terran's doing. There are no more secrets for Terran in this game.
There's
just
not.
Just a simple 2 stalkers here, Mothership Core here. They have to put their units to where the stalkers are. Those are what really deal the damage.
Between that and between Hallucinate, there's certainly some early vision potential there for the Protoss. So if you've just joined us here, we are kicking off the 2013 MLG Winter Championships. We have not yet entered into the first game, but we are gearing up and we are almost ready. iNnoVation is going to be taking on HuK. We're going to have a TVP for you here, and we are going to kick things off on Whirlwind. We have now switched over to Heart of the Swarm, so if you expect to see some Wings of Liberty, you tuned into the wrong tournament.
So it looks like, Marcus, the power is now in your hands. We'll be starting this game, ladies and gentlemen. The countdown has begun. It's time for game 1 between iNnoVation and HuK. Yes! Yes, Marcus!
It is happening. It is happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am so thrilled to be in this match. So let's go ahead and do the usual thing, Marcus.
Yes.
Up in the top right-hand corner, one of my absolute favorite players of all time has had plenty to recoup his mental state with tons of practice. From Team Evil Geniuses, it is HuK.
And in the southwest position, as the Red Terran, a player that even Artosis has graced, one of the best players in the StarCraft 2 universe. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for iNnoVation.
So already we see its cross-map position, so, it's a little bit of that meta-game stuff that we were talking about earlier. This is an excellent map to go for a straight early expand if you have any inkling of information as to how your opponent plays. HuK looks like he is going to be going for the gateway, the sort of standard play, and you might think, he's not willing to take the risk. But look at that entrance to iNnoVation's base. It's actually quite a wide ramp. You can see that at the front, it has just a single supply depot there.
Yeah, over on the expansion, obviously. Now, we've got the gas going down for iNnoVation, which is, of course, pretty standard is where we're at right now. And again, when you start off and you get that early gas and Reapers become a possibility, Sean, it's really interesting. We've seen the super heavy Reaper pressure. Granted, this is a huge map. Don't think it's going to necessarily happen, but I do expect us to see the Reapers come out and play here at the course over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're already seeing the Marine go. With that gas going down, honestly, I think a lot of players are just rushing straight for Widowmine. It's really solid against a variety of things. HuK, I think, doing the smart thing. He hasn't seen anything. He's actually done no scouting, so he's going to go ahead and auto go for Zealot number 1. Immediate questions start coming up because it's HotS now. You can spend that first 100 gas on the Mothership core instead of going for Stalker and core, but I really think that the early Stalker is essential for just getting a read on your opponent. If you attack and you just count what he has, you can really have a nice follow-through.
And he does indeed go with that, Sean. So,
yes.
I mean, I've been watching that as well. Like, where do Prodosses like to get it? Some Prodosses waiting until later, but that timing that you mentioned is kind of like that sweet spot to get it in. And I think it's when you have, you know, the gas to actually spend. Obviously, the expansion does go down for HuK. And as you mentioned, you know, not allowing him to go with just the Zealot, bringing the Stalker out, but most importantly, getting that Nexus down. SCV is coming in for the scout. Stalker is going to see it, but more importantly, will he see that expansion comes up?
Oh, he missed it.
He did not.
He missed it. If you actually
did not.
select iNnoVation's vision, you see that he's like an inch away from actually getting vision of that Nexus. Wow, brutal. So yeah, Widow Mines are what's coming up. HuK's doing the absolute perfect thing. He's moving out aggressively. He's going to try to get that read.
Now we see, obviously, the Marines continue to pour out here, and as you mentioned, the Widow Mines, the starport going down. So that could signify, oh, hold on, as the Stalker comes up to the front, those Marines, I think they're going to get it. They're just, and you know what? There's another Marine that's about ready to pop out that Widow Mine as well. But he didn't see the Widow Mine. He just saw the Marine. So HuK all the way on his way back. Stalker number 2.
Well, I mean, HuK is the sort of player who likes to be real brave with Stalkers. He is made of balls, and there, oh, nope, Widow Mine's going down. HuK's not going to get too eager with that. But HuK's doing a smart build in the back. We actually see that he has absolutely no Mothership core. He's going to be doing something that we've seen him do before, which is to go straight for cannons in his worker line. Seems very odd, but, I mean, look over iNnoVation's base. Widow Mines aren't going to be able to do anything against just a single cannon in there. And moreover, there's just one barracks down right now for iNnoVation. So that means he doesn't have a strong follow-up.
And he's throwing a reactor on there, so that follow-up, it's going to take a while before it gets out. Now, here we go. The medevac's out. It picks up 2 of those Widow Mines, so we are going to see a few of those try to make their way in. HuK has already positioned himself inside his main base defensively, knowing that this is potentially something that could come. We already see the afterburners go out. Oh, my gosh, did that probe see it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, even if he didn't, Sean, the Stalkers are in a great position right now to stop this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Stalkers. HuK can actually follow this up with a nice aggressive blink play, and it's a little bit difficult. HuK walling off his backside, so there's actually no chance. Ooh, look at that. HuK repelling the medevac, and it looks like the medevac has his target in sight. He's going for the Expo. Ooh, he's going to run headlong into that cannon.
Yeah, there's actually no open doorway for him here. And I do have to say, iNnoVation using the Ignite Afterburners beautifully there. He actually activates it as he goes into the base, which, you know, wasn't necessarily, was going to get him there faster, but more importantly, he went back in there, he used the Ignite to get out there. And what I said is he was going in with Ignite and then was able to, of course, quickly get away. That time almost gets shot down, but he's going in yet again.
Gosh, I mean, really bold play from iNnoVation, but he's going to run right into the cannon. It's not going to work well. And this has got to be a shocker. Almost no one does this response where they go for the cannon. Whoa, picked off. Easy peasy. Not a problem.
Now, only one of the Widow Mines went down there as well, so iNnoVation knew that there was probably a chance it wasn't going to be able to go in and do damage. He's still kind of playing some games over here to get this next one in, but we probably should just take a quick look at what is happening behind this, because a lot of attention is being drawn to that one medevac and its Widow Mines, and behind it, iNnoVation really just going for that bio play. There, the engineering bay is going down now.
Uh-oh, this medevac looks like it's going to run headlong into the Stalkers, and he gets it down. Now, HuK is in a weird spot. He's been building up a lot of gateways and focusing on gateway tech, no Colossus. He's building these pylons like he wants to attack. iNnoVation salvaged a bunker, and ooh, it looks like HuK is getting ready to get aggro. Now, HuK could expand. He could tech. Attacking is the most dangerous of the 3, but not the worst. It's just tough to be able to break in there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the situation, the Twilight Council just finished, and there's Blink immediately. HuK's army is almost exclusively Stalkers right now, and versus this front door, even with Blink, it's still going to be a rough one to hit. We do see a missile turret go down there, and that means this vision, it's about to disappear. There go, boom, it's gone. The Observer is out of there, and although he did salvage that bunker, I kind of have to feel like he could still hold this off. Now, he knows that pylon's over there. He's going to go and grab it. And HuK knew, based off of what he saw in the vision he had, the fact that he lost it, there was no attack to be done.
Yeah. You know, I think this moment right now is where you really see the weakness of Widow Mine openings. There is no Barracks 4 and 5. There's no third command center. iNnoVation basically has nothing. He has the standard setup that a Terran player always wants to get, and nothing else. So iNnoVation actually has to do huge damage here, and HuK has the perfect defensive setup. Tons of Blink Stalkers going for Colossus.
Yeah.
HuK now holds this off, and he can counter swing and get a solid, easy win.
Yeah, and meanwhile, this probe is going to see a potential third base going down, so he knows that could be behind it. And here's the scan, but HuK spreads his units out quite nicely. It's going to move forward. There the force fields go down, but the split's actually still okay here for iNnoVation. These units are starting to fall, but here come the Stalkers, and that is going to save the day. Now, keep in mind, it's all a stall tactic because that first Colossus is moments away from coming out as well.
Blink is almost done. It's 2 seconds, and there's going to be a blink forward. Oh, no. Looks like instantly hops in there. Oh, iNnoVation is in a real troublesome spot. iNnoVation's starting to realize, oh my God, I can't drop. I can't even push the front. And now, all of a sudden, with these Blink Stalkers chasing me down, I'm just going to have to retreat home.
And he is going to turn around, though, turn the stem on. No Guardian Shield going up here. In fact, we're going to see HuK move back. And, I don't necessarily want to sit here and be overly critical, but, Sean, I have to ask the question. Would that have gone way more in HuK's favor if he would have had the Mothership core there?
It's hard to tell. The time bomb is so crucial, but leading up to this point, there was really no clear window where HuK could have wiggled it in. He was trying to stay as emphasizing on Stalkers as he could to ensure that he had enough to defend Widow Mines and even an associated Banshee push. So, yeah, it would have helped in that attack, but it's hard to see how he would have gotten there. And now
Sure.
iNnoVation parking himself up at the far north side of the map. This is what makes Whirlwind difficult. You just can't stop your opponent from ever being anywhere, just due to how open it is.
And there is a real split here. HuK has some Stalkers outside. Of course, they can retreat with Blink, but inside the main line, there is a huge drop going down by iNnoVation. There is a cannon there. It goes down, though, and there is plenty of Bioforces there still left to clean up what's left of HuK's workers. Meanwhile, we see HuK moving out, and is there even going to be a Warpin in the back? No, there's a Warpin in the main base. I don't know if it'll be able to take care of what's in there.
Yeah, HuK's really banking hard on this attack. There's been a lot of stim on those units. That Colossus needs to be careful. He's setting himself up for disaster, and the drop in the main base still holding strong. HuK still pushing forward, and it's, oh my God, only just now are Barracks 4 and 5 up, but iNnoVation's just ripped apart the whole main.
Yeah, he has, and this is absolutely crazy because if these units cannot fend this off inside the main base, we've got HuK knocking on the front door right now.
Back. He's going to lose the Colossus. Range is not yet done.
Oh, SCV's coming out to heal up that bunker, and it does manage to save, but meanwhile, he is going to probably take out this command center that's built over at the third. However, so many bio units still tearing apart. I mean, that warp into Zelge was slowed down. It did absolutely nothing versus the Marine and the Marine Marauder force that is left over, and look at the tech that is falling right now.
Oh God, Vikings out. The Colossus taking some serious hit. Blinks up. HuK trying to control as best he can, but he just doesn't have the units.
GG.
Good game. iNnoVation takes game 1.
You talked a little bit about where you could see the weaknesses of the Widow Mine, but right there, catching his opponent off guard with that double medevac drop, showing how powerful that boost could be if needed. But honestly, the boost had nothing to do with that. It was just a good opportunity. He had vision across the map. HuK seemed to be out a little bit. HuK made the decision to go for it while the main base was kind of in turmoil.
And this has really been HuK's traditional issue, is the unwillingness to sit home and defend if there is an opportunity to attack. Because, let's be honest, iNnoVation had a completely failed Widow Mine opening. Did no damage, put iNnoVation well behind. So what does that mean? HuK says, oh, well, you probably can't have a lot of barracks to defend this attack. I'll make an attack. Again, it makes sense, but he left his backside way open, and a player like iNnoVation is going to be able to exploit that perfectly on this huge, huge map.
He really did. I mean, the back end with the cannon. The cannon's great for stopping the Widow Mines. It's not great for stopping a double medevac drop full of bio. In fact, it went down so quick. And outside of that, the warp-in had just happened outside of the base, so once HuK was available to do a warp-in, even the 5 stalkers was obviously not going to be enough. And I think that's why he went ahead and, decided to move forward with his main force. But iNnoVation was so ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, again, what's so nice about Heart of the Swarm is that in Wings of Liberty, you would essentially say, iNnoVation's dead. I mean, he's going to have slow medevacs. He's not going to be able to pull off anything with only 3 barracks, and there you go. But again, with those speed medevacs, it did not actually come into play in the drop at the backside, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
But all the engagements in the middle of the map, you can't run away from regular stalkers, let alone blink stalkers.
Right.
But now with that boost, we saw that iNnoVation was able to conserve all of his medevacs, take the healthy ones, go drop with them, bring the weakened ones home, and revive them. And now as we go into our next game in Cloud Kingdom, this is going to be, I think, a much better opportunity for HuK. HuK plays this map absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, and Cloud Kingdom is going to be the next up. We're just waiting one moment before we get this game started. We're just going to take a very, very quick break, but when we come back, MLG Cloud Kingdom is going to be the place of battle as we continue this best of 5 between HuK and iNnoVation. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Have you thought about taking your passion for video games and turning it into a career? Full Sail University offers programs that teach you how to design, code, and create art for the video game industry. For more excited by new technology and innovation? Full Sail University can teach you the skills you need to take advantage of this rapidly changing career field. For more information, visit the Full Sail booth located near Dr. Pepper.